Gary Lineker, childhood hero of mine. Anyone about my age, you will remember Italia 90, Lineker a hero. Mexico 86, Lineker a hero. Lineker, he's our main football commentator. And when I say football, I mean football that you kick with your foot, not football that you pick up and throw with your hand. I love football. I love Gary Lineker. You used to be able to love people, and that was it. I love him. Why? Because he scored a lot of goals. He was in the 6-yard box. He cropped up at vital moments. Now, Gary Lineker is actually primarily a Palestine spokesman. That's what Gary Lineker is now. Now, let's get into this extraordinary story, because this, in a sense, represents the end of impartiality, neutrality, of a kind of universal morality that we all have recourse to. Jerry Seinfeld, hated for being a Zionist. Gary Lineker, loathed for being an anti-Semite. Yay! Loathed for being, what we used to be able to accommodate. Artists are weird. What do you imagine it would be like if you knew Michelangelo, or if you knew Handel or Chaucer, or name someone that's contributed to the culture. Name them. It would be weird. Imagine what it would be like to know St. Francis of Assisi. St. Francis of Assisi, an actual saint. He would have been, I'm imagining, difficult to be around if you couldn't get on his trip with him. If you couldn't get on his trip, St. Francis of Assisi is bringing poor people round. He's letting goats in the house. There's birds flying around. He's giving away your money. He's making you feel you're not working hard enough. Well, now our culture has become such a sort of a demonic vortex that we're all getting sucked into it. No one's neutral, not anymore. Let's have a look at the Gary Lineker story, a sports commentator that's been sucked into the Israel-Palestine controversy. Let's go.
We start this hour with breaking news from here at the BBC, actually.
Why the grandiosity, by the way, about breaking news? And why all of us in X-Post, breaking news? Or just continual breaking news? Who cares? We're in the infinite. We're in the eternity. None of it matters, actually, does it? You can make an argument that it matters that there's an ongoing massacre in Gaza that could be ended if all of us were able to bring our attention to it. Are there other massacres elsewhere? Is America founded on genocide? Yes. Is the United Kingdom founded on genocide? Yes. Is the news reliable? Is the BBC reliable? No.
The BBC announcing that Gary Lineker will be leaving the corporation now, sooner than originally planned. It's understood that bosses considered his position untenable after he posted an image on social media that was considered to be anti-Semitic.
Well, the BBC have just posted in the last few seconds this statement on the BBC press office website saying Gary Lineker will leave his presenting role following the conclusion of Match of the Day for the 2024-25 season. He will not be part of the BBC's coverage of the 2026 World Cup or next season's FA Cup coverage.
It's weird, isn't it, that someone that's posting about Gaza is being chastised by not being able to commentate on a World Cup. Whatever you think about Israel and Gaza, you don't think it's good, do you? You don't think it's a nice thing that that's happening. You might be very pro-Israel and think, therefore, Israel has the right to do whatever Israel wants to do when retrieving their hostages or protecting their sovereignty. Or you might be like, hold on, this is an unprecedented massacre. Why are we not only talking about this all of the time? But whatever you think, surely somewhere in you, you know it's more important than the World Cup. And I say this as someone that I fucking love World Cups, man. I love the World Cup. When the World Cups happen, it's a relief, because then you think, well, yeah, the only thing that matters is the World Cup. I love the World Cup. It's going to be in America next year. I mean, amazing. You know, I don't know, I could be in jail. I might not be able to watch it. I might be in jail for crimes I did not commit. And if so, I will watch that World Cup from the jail while ministering the holy word of the Lord and acknowledging that systems can be coercively manipulated by powerful forces. Watch Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Hey.
And there's a statement from Tim Davie, the BBC's Director General, says Gary has acknowledged the mistake he made. Accordingly, we've agreed he will step back from further presenting after this season.
BBC uncovers child sex abuse in South Africa. BBC should be uncovering sex abuse in its own bleeding building. Like the BBC, throughout the 70s and 80s, as we understand, and now know empirically in the case of Jimmy Savile, it was a nest of pedophilia. A nest of pedophilia. Where do the media, by the way, get off acting like they're neutral commentators? Like organisations like the Times and the Sunday Times and the BBC. Gary Lineker's done a thing. They're absolutely evil as an institution. As an institution, they're absolutely, undeniably, flat out, nasty, evil organisations. Let me just give you a few examples of what the media do in the UK. They want working people of all races and varieties to hate one another. They'll amplify whatever voice they need to ensure their own perpetual power. They've got no political fealty to anybody. They're flat out evil. Flat out evil. They can't be neutral about anything. Listen, the trend is decentralisation. You don't need a BBC anymore. The BBC is only there to aggregate power and to control information. They might tell you, we're here for a nature documentary. You fucking well ain't. You're here to control people. That's the BBC, that's the Times, that's all of them. And just because you happen to like one of them, like Fox News or whatever, they're no better. None of them, because there's an economic imperative behind all of it. They try to mask control as help continually. That's the only game in town, baby. And now someone like, me, I've always been a little bit controversial. I recognise that. I was a heroin addict when I was a kid. I'm anti-establishment by nature. I've got confrontational aspects to me. I'm a confusing little guy. Like, Gary Lineker just wanted to play fucking football and talk about football. And it's like, well, this massacre's doing my head in. And now he's fucking out. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And I say this is a person that believes Israel is a sovereign nation, has the right to exist, has the right to defend itself, doesn't have the right to massacre people. Same as any country. Although, I recognise Britain killed a whole bunch of people. The US did. What are we going to do? What the fuck are we going to do?
Gary has been a defining voice in football coverage for the BBC for over 2 decades. His passion and knowledge have shaped our sports journalism and earned him the respect of sports fans across the UK and beyond. We want to thank him for the contribution he's made. And Gary Lineker said, football has been at the heart of my life for as long as I can remember, both on the pitch and in the studio. I cared deeply about the game and about the work I've done with the BBC over many years. As I've said, I would never consciously repost anything anti-Semitic. It goes against everything I stand for. However, I recognise the error and upset that I caused and reiterate how sorry I am. Stepping back now feels like the responsible course of action. That statement just in the last few seconds from the BBC.
Just have a look at that still that's caused it. Zionism explained in less than 2 minutes. All right, yeah, like a rat. That's not good. Gary Lineker resigned in disgrace from the BBC. He's been action World Cup coverage. He's followed a show anti-Semitic video featuring the image of our good riddance. It's the very picture of everything rotten in the British establishment. Yeah, okay, I don't think he's an anti-Semite. Do you? Who actually thinks that Gary Lineker... And this is, by the way, if you do, then you're in Black Lives Matter territory now. You're in that kind of territory of you white people don't know you're racist. That's what it is. You don't know you're racist. You've got so much embedded white privilege that you don't know you're racist. Oh, you don't know you're an anti-Semite. You've absorbed so many anti-Semitic tropes. This is how you know whether or not you're an anti-Semite. Do you hate Jews? If the answer to that is yes, you are an anti-Semite. Stop being an anti-Semite. Stop it now. It's disgusting and it led to a Holocaust. Stop it. If you do not hate Jews and are concerned about Israeli actions in Gaza, then be bleeding careful how you address it, is my advice. I'd say that's like when you accidentally do a fart and it smells. Or you think, oh no, I can't hold this in anymore. I'm actually just going to do it. I'm just going to, oh shit. Oh no, it stinks. And then you have to just continue talking with everyone. Yeah, no, I try to really what I try and do is bring up the tempo of the conversation. Well, what do we all think about this, guys? And hope that my brilliant raconteur nature will distract people from the fact there's a fart. And there's a terrible thing when you repost something and people go, hey mate, did you know that person is a sort of rabid anti-Semite or is Islamophobe or is a homophobe or whatever? New protocols are required for the new challenges that we face in new communication systems. Free speech is under attack, mine particularly, yours and everybody's. We have to fight back. And how are we going to fight back? Rumble. You get Rumble Premium, you don't only get great content creators like Old Rusty Brandstein, AIPAC-supported Zionist, you also get Mustafa Brandishahad. He loves Islam. Also, you get Old Russ. He loves Trump. And then you get Russell. He's a big fan of Kamala Harris. How many people do you need on one channel? You gotta get it. Not only do you get me, you get Mug Club with Crowder. You get Glenn Greenwald. He broke the Edward Snowden story. What do you want from people? You get Kim Iverson. It's all available to you in the Rumble chat. For a limited time, you can get 10 of your American dollars off, and you can use crypto, baby, using the promo code AIPAC. No, using the promo code BRAND. Visit rumble.com/brand and get your discount today. Together, we can turn the crimson tide of foaming propaganda and stay free together. Click the link. This is Gary Lineker's position on Gaza. Let's check it.
The worst thing I've seen in my lifetime. I've seen so many images of children that, I've got no skin in this game. I'm not Muslim. I'm not Jewish. I'm not Israeli. I'm not Palestinian. So I see it, I think, purely from the outside, as from a neutral perspective. And I can't think of anything that I've seen worse in my lifetime. The constant images of children losing their lives day in, day out. Now, obviously, we all know what, October 7th happened and, the Hamas thing. But the minute you raise your voice against what they're now doing there, you get accused of being a supporter of Hamas or, all this kind of stuff. So there's a lot of heavy lobbying on people to be quiet. So I understand why most people refrain, but I'm getting on a bit now. I'm fairly secure, and I can't be silent about what's happening there. I think it's so utterly awful. And now they're talking about, it already looks like it's happening, going into Rafah, where they've sent everybody down there. So, I don't think you can be, it's not anti-Semitic to say that what Israel is doing is wrong. And I just can't see how everybody doesn't see it that way now. For, whatever the cause, whatever started it, and we all know that, the history of this area of the world goes way before October the 7th. But it's truly dreadful what's happening, and I cry on a regular basis when I see certain images on social media.
Okay, well, that's it. He's not working at the BBC no more. Let's see what he does next. Now, here's his response to his sort of sacking, really.
Hi everyone, some personal news. Last week I shared a post here on Instagram that contained an emoji that has awful connotations. Unfortunately, I did not see the emoji. If I had, I would never ever have shared it. The minute I was made aware, I quickly deleted the post and went on to make an apology. I would like once again to say I'm sorry unreservedly for the hurt and upset caused. It was a genuine mistake and oversight, but I should have been more diligent. I know that. I've stood up for minorities and humanitarian issues and against all forms of racism all of my life, including, of course, anti-Semitism, which I absolutely abhor. There's no place for it and never should be. So I think it's best for all concerned that I step down from BBC presenting duties altogether and not do next season's FA Cup or World Cup. The final day of the Premier League season on Sunday will be my last show. It's been a pleasure and a huge privilege working with the BBC for 30 years, especially hosting Match of the Day, a programme that is so close to my heart and an integral part of my life. I'd like to thank all of the quite brilliant, talented and lovely people both in front and behind the camera that I've worked alongside for 3 decades. You're at absolute best. The relationship with the BBC has been long and wonderful, but it's the right time for the organisation and myself to go our separate ways. Thank you also to all of you for your incredible support and love over so many years. It means the world to me. I'll see you all on Sunday.
Joe, when I was I don't want to say coming up because it wasn't that long ago. When I started to talk about politics from an anti-establishment perspective, I was very much aligned with the left. I knew Gary Lineker a bit, actually. And I went on a British TV show called Newsnight. It's like your 60 Minutes or whatever. I've been on there once and I had a confrontation with the head anchor who was their main man. And I mean, not to big myself up, but I dusted him. I hit him with some pretty good lyrics and it was good stuff. It was spontaneous. Now, they had me on again, the show, and put a different sort of presenter on. And the person was sort of like this sort of cloying sort of personification of a clammy hand, a kind of Gollum-y man whose name I don't recall, struck me as the sort of person who might have pierced genitalia. He went, so with 9/11, do you think that was an inside job? Right? You start to ask questions that they are leading you to a place where you're going to get in trouble if you're not really articulate and really brilliant. It's like Operation, that kids game. Like Gary Lineker essentially fucked up. He touched the edge. You can't post an emoji of a rat. You fucked up. And what I did on that thing was I don't trust the American government. That's what I said on that thing. I mean, I don't trust the American government. And I'd stand by that now. And what do you think? Let me know in the comments and chat. Was 9/11 an inside job? Now, I couldn't back it up. I think elsewhere, and I think I've seen Douglas Murray talk about this. They started showing me graphs about when people, politicians go, actually, things are a lot better than ever. I was talking about housing. I was involved in these working class women who I became friends with who were fucking amazing, actually. And their houses were all getting taken over and I met them and I was just like, yeah, I'll support your campaign. They were lovely. And I think on the show I was on, they were putting up a bunch of graphs saying, look, housing's more affordable and better than ever and Britain's great and why don't you shut up? And you're an entertainer and you're from a working class background. Why don't you just fuck off? That's what it was. And I went, I don't know about fucking graphs, mate. I don't know about graphs. That's what I said. And I actually stand by that. I'm not a sociologist. I don't understand those kind of things. What about the spirit? The spirit, man. The spirit. Do you trust the TV? Do you trust the government? Do you trust the people that are pre-chewing your information and giving it back to you? Or do you think, fuck you? And they don't want that energy in there. What they want is meticulous, well-spoken, neutered, inoculated pricks. And that's what they end up with. That's what they always end up with. Dear Gary Lineker, even if you are listen, I'm Israeli, I lost my family in the Holocaust, I'm not interested in anybody standing up for anyone that's contributed to the threats endured by Jews and Israeli people, and Hamas do say they want to execute and kill all Jews, so fuck Hamas, man. Right? So if that's your position, you probably still don't think that, and no, you're entitled to that position, of course you are. You still probably don't think, oh, Gary Lineker, he put that rat on there and that's normalising it and da-da-da-da-da-da. If all you're interested in is the assertion of your own will and worldview, you are the problem. I have to be open and pure about me. You have to be open and pure about you. If the only thing you're interested in is this, I hate, it sort of doesn't matter if we happen to be on the same side. The irony is this, if you ask me, the people that hate Jews and the people that hate Muslims are going to end up in the same place together. They are in it now. They are in perennial, unending, limitless hate. Those of us that are willing to surrender ourselves, concede to our innermost selves that we know nothing. We know nothing. I know nothing. I don't know anything anymore. All I know is how to love. Unless you're willing to do that and try and know that you'll fail every single day and that you've got to get up, then you're sort of just going to dry out here like a kind of cockroach. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and the chat. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.